I'm literally like a chimp at the zoo. I need to be controlled. Hello and welcome to the Fat Jack Sports Hour. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm your host, the Fat Jack. The weekend is here. Holiday season is getting around the corner and so much more. Excited to get Mr. Brandon Rush in here from Louisville, Kentucky, where we can get this show underway, get you deeper into profit, talk about last week, and much, much more. Thank you for joining us, as I know a lot of you are doing some shopping and getting ready to go to your in-laws and all that kind of stuff. Appreciate you spending part of your day with us. Certainly this hour will hopefully help you make some money betting on these games. Mr. Brandon Rush, how are you today, buddy?
I am good. You're looking back at last week, it kind of felt like you ever have like a problematic nose hair that's just sitting there and like you can kind of see it and you know that as soon as you pull it out, it's going to hurt. That's kind of how Sunday felt for me. Like I could see early that it was going to be a bit of a rough day, and there's nothing we could do about it except just sit there and wallow in the pain.
You know, it's funny that no handicapper that has a show
0%.
that an hour would ever even mention, ever breathe on a negative day, especially when he had come off another winning day on Saturday. Right. I could mold this any way to make it look any way that we want. I could say, Brandon, without lying, there'd be no lying, no nothing. I could say we are 8-4 on Sundays in the NFL in November. Mm-hmm. What is that, 66%?
That is winning 2/3 of every NFL Sunday game, yes.
We are 66% on Sundays in the NFL. I could say we're averaging 4-2 on Saturdays over the entire season. The whole year, we're averaging 4-2 on Saturdays, went 4-2 again last Saturday. I could say that. But the reality is that this last week, one of our few weeks that we had a bad week. We had a bad Sunday. We won again on Saturday. We're having a great November, but to just brush over, you're right, though, Sunday was not any fun. And it was one of those days where if I'd released 2 or 3 more, we'd have won with those games. But it's always ifs and buts. You can always kind of manipulate what you do. We're just talking about football also. We're not talking about soccer. We're not talking about UFC. We're not talking about the players' props. It's hard for me to complain or apologize for a bad day in sports gambling. It is one of those things that you're going to have them. Every once in a while, you're going to have a bad day, and they happen. I try to focus on them a lot more than anybody else would who's in this world, because I think without mentioning a bad day, and we again had a bad Sunday last week, but we gone undefeated the 2 Sundays before that in November. So it's like, how much am I actually? What am I mad about? I mean, if I had gone 3-1, 3-1, and 2-2. We'd have exactly the same record. I'm not sure we'd be talking about Sunday
at all.
Because I went 4-2 on Saturday. And I've been going 4-2 every week on Saturday. So
UFC turned a profit for a 3rd week in a row. Basketball's winning.
Yeah, basketball turned a nice profit last week as well. So yeah, we're off to we're having a great year. We really are. Mm-hmm. And now is a great time to get signed up. $99 for football through Monday before the holidays. All right, we're not even to Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving's going to have football every day. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and they're big games all day while you're eating turkey, while you're thinking about Black Friday, while you're banging into people at Walmart. All that stuff is going to be happening, and you'd make some money. Now you can make money before that for $99, or get through the end of the month. It's like $199 through the end of this month. So that's $99 now, $199. Those are just football. Add basketball, like $149. Depends on what day on basketball. If you're listening to this on the podcast somewhere on Tuesday or Wednesday, it's more. It'd be $199 through Monday for hoops and football, or more if you go through the end of the month. If you add soccer, if you add the players' props, if you add UFC, all those things cost a little bit more, but not much. The longer packages save you even a ton more. Go through the New Year's Eve. Packages up there for that. Packages through the Super Bowl, through March Madness, through the NBA Finals. So FatJackSports.com. As little as $99 to win this weekend. Save money with those longer packages. Brandon, so much to get to. So much. And a lot of it, honestly, are sports. I listened to last week's show, and I bored myself. Long, stupid story. That's all dumb. This week, I'm really optimistic. Last week was like a 5 as far as the show went. We're going to change the bumper music this week. We're going club music. Don't you, that. We're going to give it that this week. Pick it up a little bit. get a little less stale. But I want to start with last week. What are your thoughts on last week? What jumped out at you the most? And then no matter what you say, I've got information for that I'm mad about. So we're going to go right into that. While we're doing that, fatjacksports.com for $99 through Monday. What got you last week?
Second week in a row that one of the upper echelon college football teams had to have everything fall right in order for them to advance. 2 weeks ago was Indiana getting a miraculous win at the buzzer. Also, Oregon was in that weekend. Texas A&M last week. At any point, I fully expect Aggie gonna Aggie. Like, that's gonna happen. And I thought that we had that Saturday where they're down 30-3 to a very mediocre South Carolina school. And then they turn around and have the largest comeback in school history. They win 31-30, and now their undefeated season still in progress, and they have everything in front of them still. So there still is an opportunity for them to go full Aggie and collapse at the worst possible time. It just didn't happen to be Saturday, which was
so I'm
mind-boggling.
pissed about a lot of things.
Yes.
You could have said 5 or 6 different things from last week, and I have something that I'm pissed about.
And I picked the one you didn't?
No, I do. No, 100%.
Okay,
no, I'm
good.
going to tell you. Here's my problem, Brandon. Here's what I've got going as far as it relates to Texas A&M and Indiana. We need to acknowledge out loud there is either an eye test or there's not an eye test. There's either quality wins and losses or there's not quality wins and losses. I'm sick of the double standard going on in college football right now. People pick a lane. If we want to talk about Notre Dame, who has no good wins, they're 0-2 to start the year against the best 2 teams that they played all season long. And then we're going to give them eye test winnings because they blow out a Pitt team that the coach came out midweek and said, we don't even care if we win this. We're trying to win the conference. The next 2 weeks matter much more. And we want to talk about how well they won. Then we need to be adding some value or taking away some value from a catch of the decade against a Penn State team that didn't even have a freaking coach 2 weeks ago with Indiana. And then Texas A&M winning by 1 on their home field against a South Carolina team that we always want to play this, well, they beat them and they didn't beat them. Everything you look at is, well, what's their best win? South Carolina's been handled at home and away by a lot of people. So we need to pick a lane. Either we're going to care about – we used to do this. It used to either be – depending on when you looked, if it was 10 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever, there was always an element, but it was pretty consistent with, well, they didn't really pass the eye test that week. That's a bad loss. That wasn't a great win. They needed to blow that team out. Where's that now that we have 12 teams in the playoffs? Nobody wants to discuss that. Those 2 wins should matter in the rankings, and they should matter in how we view the teams, just like we're going to look at Notre Dame and give them credit, and not just Notre Dame. Basically anybody from the Big Ten. Anybody they have a big win, a good win over other mediocre teams. We want to fluff them up, or somebody in the ACC or the Big 12. I don't want to hear about quality of wins and losses if we're going to just brush over the fact that we've had historical things happen the last 2 weeks with some of these top seeds.
And honestly, until the NCAA institutes a set of rules across the conferences, like, hey, you're going to play 8 conference games, you're going to be in a 16-team conference, until those things are equal, and then we say, hey, the top 2 teams out of this conference get into the playoff, we're going to live in this cycle, and this is the hell that we brought upon ourselves, and this is where we live now.
Well, and to compound on that, this is a really interesting year. The NFL is even more interesting. Who's the best, who's not the best, all that. But you have these teams that are looking to get in the playoffs that are playing. Ohio State, their best win is against the 17th ranked team in the newest poll. Indiana beat the 6th ranked team. Texas A&M, the 9th ranked team. All right, none of these – Oregon has beaten no teams in the top 20. But because they're in the Big Ten, we're going to move them in. Now, they're going to have an opportunity. They get USC next, and then, I think they have one more that's against somebody pretty good. But I just think that we need to just treat all these teams – the same. Just because you're in the Big Ten, you shouldn't be getting passes, or the SEC should be getting passes. If you struggle, and make no mistake, if they had lost, if A&M loses, it doesn't matter. And by the way, I had none of either of those games. Didn't have Indiana or Penn State. Didn't have South Carolina. Didn't have Texas A&M. clients and myself, we did not make a dime or lose a dime on those games. But I think that's really inconsistent. That's number one. FatJackSports.com. Get signed up today. Let's try to be more consistent about whether we're going to give quality of wins, quality of losses away as we head toward the playoffs. Which brings me to my next point. And then we're going to break down a free winner. We're going to free winner every single segment this week.
All right.
But I want to get to my next problem, the Oklahoma Sooners, Brandon. And by the way, one of our wins was, and I think you're going to be surprised about why I'm mad about this,
Okay.
but one of our wins last week under the total with Oklahoma, I actually went on TikTok and said, well, it looks like we're going to lose the total in the Oklahoma game.
Because at that point, there was at one point, it was 21-20 maybe, and it was middle of the third quarter, and the total was 45. I was like, yeah, we're done here. Like,
they got up and down the field in the first half. I mean, and all the things that take totals over that shouldn't go over. They had pick six, and big punt return. Special teams play a huge part in sending totals over that should stay under. So you don't tackle somebody, pick six. So I'm thinking we're losing. We actually won. So I'm not mad about anything that happened with Oklahoma. I'm actually confused, and I'd like your help on this. So you ready for this one?
I mean, I'm flabbergasted by this team, but I'm curious to know what you've got here.
Here's my problem. The latest speculation, Brandon, of who's going to make the playoff and who's not going to make the playoff. The Oklahoma Sooners have a 49% chance. This is according to ESPN's playoff predictor, whatever, BS, blah, blah, blah. A 49% chance of making the playoffs. So I need somebody to enlighten me, and don't email me. Email Brandon if you want. I don't care. He can tell me. I don't need the public to tell me why they think this is happening. We're going to be making so much money this weekend betting on these games that I will be moved on from this. But this is something that I'm curious about because I do not understand. $99 weekend. Oklahoma, 49% chance. They have 2 games left. They're a 9 to 9.5 point favorite this weekend. This is the tougher of the 2 games against Missouri. They're going to play LSU next at home. Common sense would tell you that if they win this one, they're going to be favored somewhere at least 8 or 9 points in the next one. How in the hell are they only a 49% chance? They have a better than 50-50 chance of winning both of these games just based on the math of how big a favorite they are. And is somebody telling me that there's a chance they don't make the playoffs if they win out? Is that on the table? How are they just a 59% chance if we're looking at I don't understand what they're looking at if Oklahoma only has a 50-50 shot, and if they win, unless I'm missing something, and that they can win out and not make it. That's not possible, right? Nobody's saying that.
I would think the only way that they could win out in the regular season and not make the playoff is if they get into the SEC championship game and then get boat raced.
Brandon, how is that a thing? You've won your way into the championship game, even if they lose by 50.
Because they wouldn't have passed the eye test.
I'm going to burn something down. I'll blow something up. I'm going to burn it down. I'm going to blow it up. And I've been the biggest critic of the Oklahoma Sooners from an X's and O's standpoint there is anywhere.
Right.
I've been the one saying not good enough offensively, can't run the football, secondary's a little shot, all those things. But now we're here. I don't understand how we're even having a conversation. What's 50-50? If they win out, they have got to make the playoff. You can't we're not talking about the Big 12. This is the SEC. If you make
it would be a 10-win SEC team on the outside looking in.
I refuse to believe we live in that world. Obviously, if they lose one of these next 2 games, all of that changes. But my point is the math. I'm a gambler. All right, but this is a simple math. If you're an 8 or 9 point favorite, just on the money line, you're minus at least 200 on each of these games. Actually, worse than that. So you have about a 72% chance of winning both of these games.
Right.
Not covering, just winning. It's about a 72% chance. And if they win both the games, I don't understand. There cannot be a world. I refuse to believe there's a world that they would win both of these games. I don't care if they get in the SEC championship game and lose by 100 and lose their quarterback. If you get in the SEC championship game, you make the playoffs, period. This year, they're the best conference in the country. It's not even – I'm not going to go over it's a waste of airtime, and we only have an hour. But I do not understand the math on how Oklahoma. If somebody can figure that out and let me know how they're only a 50% chance, and I will, by the way, but the minute we're done with the show, I'm going to move on, get to this week, find another 4-2 or better on Saturday, get back to another 4-0 on Sunday. Players props, if they lose this week, and was TBD, if they lose this week, it's close, then we will have lost 2 weeks. We're in late November, people. We've had 2 losing weeks with props if they lose this week. Soccer is Eagles Premier League back and running. We'll have 5 to 7 games going Saturday and Sunday. UFC 4-1 2 weeks ago. They turned the smallest smidge of profit this last week. Nothing to write home about. But everybody's making money if you're signed up. And by the way, before we go to, I know we're going to break in a minute, but before we go to break, if you're out there, do me a favor. If you don't want to get banned from my social media, don't go on one of my posts of any kind and recite what you think our record is. I don't need you as a person out there telling anybody that follows me what you think our record is. I don't care if you get the picks or not. Because if you get all of the picks, then I might give you a pass. If you're just getting football and you're like, well, he went 4-2 against Saturday, but he had a losing Sunday, still winning. We're in late November, people. We've had now 2 losing weeks the entire year in football. All sports are winning, all sports. And if but more than any of that, I don't need you to go on and tell me what you think our record is, because our clients all know what the record is because it's posted. Anybody wants to see the record, go to fatjacksports.com, look under the results tab, you'll see the record for yourself. And thirdly, it makes me think you are somehow part of the service enough that you need to be putting our record out there. And by the way, this only happens when we have a bad day. Nobody ever tells anybody our record out loud, certainly on social media, during one of our regular weeks where we have a huge week in Saturdays, huge winning Sun. Not one person said a word. 2 weeks ago, 4-2 on Saturday, 4-0, 8-2 weekend, nobody crickets. But because we had a Sunday, somebody saw it in their wisdom to post on one of the social media what they think our record is. The only thing that's going to do is get you blocked. Because following me on Instagram or Twitter or whatever, this is unlike most people, is a privilege, not a right. You can do if you want, but I will take you down because I don't need you, and you probably want my free winners. I know. That's right. FatJackSports.com. Get signed up if you want to win. Don't spend a lot of time hating on Instagram and hating on Twitter. Or if you're going to do that, be consistent. When I go 8-2,
say that. Yeah.
Say that too. It happens a lot more than anything bad does. So late November brings out people. We get to the holidays. People, marriages are on the rocks sometimes.
Well, you got to put up with in-laws, the travel, and then obviously there's always the got to worry about getting the kids stuff for Christmas. I mean it's a stressful time of year.
I love watching your face, who, by the way, is in charge of our social media, in charge of growing our social media, in charge of making that a better part of the service, and then I lead in with, I don't need you to follow me. Don't even bother.
There are certain things when I took this job that I knew what I was getting into.
Can you imagine being some 22-year-old blonde-haired marketing major that we'd hired on to be part of the social media team, and then she has to listen to part of the show and have me tell everybody not to follow me on social media?
The problem is you can't run it up the food chain and be like, you can't take this to corporate. You can't, because that's you. Like, you can't be like, hey, can you not? No.
I hate haters. I understand the benefit of haters.
Sure.
I understand the benefit of people following. I understand. And by the way, one of the benefits of following is we give away $250 to a dude who's going to just make more money based on investing that in a package. And we're going to do that again this week if Murray wins. Every week now going forward that he gives a free play. When it wins, we're going to give away a free winner. So go to @FatJackSports on all the social medias. Like and follow the Murray Parrish or Murray 2 Minutes to Win It post. You'll have a chance to win $250 every time he's right. He's 2-1 right now. So there are benefits to following me, but I just cannot – I don't like people being mean. I try not to be mean unless you've earned it. And if I have a bad Sunday, that's not an opportunity. And I'm too sensitive for sure. I will admit. With social media, I definitely get triggered, and I shouldn't. I should rise above it.
It's easy to do though, and you see why. Like I think it was Denmark is not allowing anyone under the age of 15 to have a social media account. it warps your mind. So I can
Yes.
understand how, and anybody, not just you, can be upset or like you said, triggered by comments and or things that you see directed at you. Yeah.
Only because there's not enough. If I was Dave Portnoy, or one of those people that literally was just getting stuff every day, I wouldn't care. I don't think. But because I don't get a lot of negative, most people are great,
Mm-hmm.
and most people either don't follow, don't care, or they're
Or
going to say nice
they
things.
follow for the fun.
Yeah, follow for the fun, follow for the information. Free winners are winning again this year. Those are free. You don't pay for those, and they win a lot more than they don't. So, and they just kind of like the lifestyle. Maybe I'm not sure what it is exactly, but they do, and that's great. That's 99% of the people. If I had volumes of people saying good, saying bad, and all that kind of stuff, maybe I would. I would relax more because I know there's a lot of people out there that don't like me, don't like what I do, whatever. I don't care about that. Because I do know that we provide a lot of good for a lot of people.
We would turn off
and,
notifications
make
on
a lot
your
of money
phone.
doing something that's very difficult to do, which is win.
I say we would turn off notifications on your phone if it got to that point.
Yeah, I think that's probably best. I'm literally like a chimp at the zoo. I need to be controlled from the outside looking in. So, all right, so we're going to take a break. We're going to come back. No, we didn't give away a free winner. You want to give away a free winner? Or you want to give two after the break?
No, we said one every segment, so we need to do it.
All right, Oklahoma, Missouri. Let's start there. No, let's do this. BYU going to Cincinnati. All right, we have one of those situations. This will be the social media free winner too, most likely, where you have a lower ranked team, a higher ranked team going on the road to a lower ranked team, and they're getting points. We've seen this. It's now 7-1, I think, this year. On these exact spots where the higher ranked team, Cincinnati at 25th, is favored over a lower ranked team, BYU 12th, playing at home. Sounds like I'm anti-Mormon or anti-white people. Anti-BYU. I'm not. I love my wife's best friend's Mormon. Her kids go to BYU. I love the Mormons. I love BYU. I love their enthusiasm. I really do. And they got a bunch of smoke shows up there. Girls are hot at BYU. I don't know if you've been to BYU, Brandon. Provo is not the worst place in the world to go. It's a beautiful setting, beautiful people. Love it.
Second best mascot in college sports, too, if that counts.
That's exactly right. He's a great dancer. He does the push-ups on the tables. Good stuff. They're going on the road getting points. Cincinnati is your first free winner, minus the points at home as a higher-ranked team playing a lower-ranked team. That's your first free winner. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back. I got two more things, I think, at least one in the NFL. Think about who's the best team in the NFL while we're at break, too. This is a good time to ask that question because that is not a given. Also, another free winner coming up after the break, and much, much more. You're listening to the Fat Jack Sports Hour.
Back out to Allen. His three-pointer.
Before the ball is tipped or a shot is even taken, before the crowd explodes or history is made. If you're going to bet, have a game plan. Bet legally, set limits, and keep it fun. When gambling becomes a problem, visit responsibleplay.org to find help.
Welcome back to the Fat Jack Sports Hour, and now here is our host. Not sure on his preference on Thanksgiving sides. He's the Fat Jack.
Thank you so much, Brandon. Fat Jack Sports Hour segment number 2, getting into the weekend. It's a $99 weekend. $99 all the football through Monday. Get you into profit before we head toward the holiday week. Add those other sports. They'll save you a ton of money. The longer packages, people act like $99 is a huge deal. I'll get a bunch of people sign up this week. They'll all win. But if you go longer, it's a lot less than $99. The same football plays, as you know, Brandon, through the Super Bowl. I think they're down to $8.99 right now, or $8.99, I think. And there's still, we can do the simple math, but you've got 5 weeks of December, 5 weeks of January, a couple weeks of February. That's 10. One or two more this week. That's 12. Let's just say 11, because it won't count Pro Bowl weekend. Say 11 weeks at $900. That's about $78 again. We're $77. So it's better than the $99 special I'm running right now. But if you want to go shorter, you want to take baby steps, you believe 30 years was a fluke, and then I'm all of a sudden going to forget how to handicap, $99 for all the football through Monday. A little bit more gets you all the hoops through Monday. As I said, they have gotten hot. English Premier Soccer, you can get that through the Super Bowl. It's about $70 a week or less, $60 a week. UFC through the Super Bowl. a lot less. Also, players props to the Super Bowl. They've had 2 losing weeks all year. Get them. That's about $60 or $70 a week. Add them all together, and you're saving a ton of money, especially when you go longer term. Go through the Super Bowl, go through March Madness, the NBA Finals, get all the plays. You're going to make a lot of money, and you're going to pay the best service rate of the entire year at fatjacksports.com. What was I going to do? I had something, Brandon. This week, what's the game this week? But Oklahoma, Missouri. Obviously, we've got these elimination games coming to the FCCs. Texas done. We heard Murray say that he likes Arkansas plus the points. I gave Arkansas away last week, as we talked about, also as a free winner on the socials. Texas done. Where are they?
In terms of like a national championship picture with 3 losses, you would hope so. Although being a name program in the SEC, who knows, considering the playoff committee and really what's coming. This is kind of a down week outside of USC, Oregon. There isn't a ton that is overly intriguing in the national landscape picture, because this is one of those weeks where, you're especially in the SEC, you're going to play Coastal Carolina this week. You're going to play Furman. So this is the calm before the storm week. All the rivalry games take place Thanksgiving weekend, so on and so forth. BYU Cincinnati, as we talked about in the last segment, is going to be a good one. Pitt Georgia Tech might be an ACC championship game eliminator. There's not a ton this week in college football that really kind of grabs the attention.
Yeah, and that's just from a spectator standpoint. From a wagering standpoint, we'll have at least 6 plays again. We've had 6 plays every single Saturday.
And have gone 4-2 on average every single Saturday.
Yeah, we've had a couple of 1 or 2 6-0s, 1 or 2 5-1s. We had a 3-3 and 1 2-4. So I mean, Saturdays are killing it. They're going to kill it again. Sunday, as I said, we're 8-4 in the month of November. 0-4 last Sunday, so 8-0 before that. So you divide it up any way you want. That's why you get the longer packages. I sent out a coupon code, obviously, for $100 off to everybody that signed up last week. I understand nobody wants to lose on Sunday. I mean, I'm fully aware that that's not the day that you pick. The Oklahoma-Missouri game, what do you think about that, Brandon? Oklahoma up to a 9.5 point favorite at home. Missouri with the freshman quarterback, but their defense is no joke. They have a very good defense. The total is now working down. It was 44, now 43, 43.5, somewhere in there, and probably works down a little more from there. And if we get any weather at all, which I'm not sure if we will, then that probably drops even lower. Is this a game? Oklahoma's not giving double digits. I mean, on a team that doesn't score a ton normally against a good defense, actually one of the top 5 defenses in the country early in the season, seems a little hazardous for your health, but Vegas knows all that. So what do you think about this game?
The fact that it's at Norman, I think, probably plays in a little bit more to the number than it would in a neutral site, or especially if this game was in Columbia. The way Missouri lost to Vanderbilt and then turned around and followed that up with a loss to A&M, I was surprised to see the way that they came out and handled business at home against Mississippi State. Now they go on the road for two road games against Oklahoma, and then they finish with Arkansas next week. Missouri is a team that, like you mentioned, is pretty good defensively, and you get 2 good defensive teams together, points are going to be at a premium. First one to 17 wins this game. Like, I would be shocked if either of these teams got into the 20s, barring a pick 6 or a big special teams play.
So, Missouri's gone over 7 of the 10 games this year. I would have thought that was less than that for sure. I don't.
But how many of those were in conference though? Because I mean, they like 51 in the Alabama game, but then 40 in Auburn, 27 against Vanderbilt. But then they turn around and there were 76 points scored against Mississippi State. So yeah.
Yeah, there's not a lot you can take away from the side. I mean, the total, you're going to get OU going under every game this year except 2. Missouri's going over more times than not. And then you look at the sides. Oklahoma's 5-4 against the number. Missouri somewhere in the middle. So you're not getting a lot of value either way on that. A very interesting game, though. Sooners fans are certainly ramping up. And this OU defense has gotten better for sure. That becomes the problem for a young quarterback and a team that gets behind. You get behind. Missouri also 5-4 against the spread. 5-4-1 actually, same as OU.
Yeah, no trends you can follow there really.
But the problem becomes if you get behind, it's a now what? Because you got a young quarterback. You're even if you play decent enough defense, so you're down 7 late or you're down 10 or 14 in the third, and you get the ball back on offense, it's like, now what? How much do we open it up? How much do we put our quarterback in harm's way against a defense that now has become opportunistic, taking the ball away, which is definitely a tougher deal. FatJackSports.com, $99 weekend. Get signed up today and start making money. You saw the cop down at Texas A&M banging into South Carolina. What is going? People have lost their mind, Brandon.
Yeah.
Is Boss Hogg working in College Station?
I mean,
now? What is happening?
There was a lot of optics there that if you really wanted to pull a very big swath of what America is right now, you could build a lot of storylines off that. It was interesting though that A&M scored 28 in a row. I mean, after that, and they weren't even really involved. This was between a part-time officer working part-time at the game, and South Carolina players coming out of a tunnel. Like it was ugly, but at the same time, like it was nothing at the same time.
It was nothing to everybody except a cop who I think definitely has some problems other than what's going on in the stadium. I mean, I just
sure.
that to me was, why are you involved in anything? I mean, I promise you this, I understand being upset, but not having enough control over your emotions. I don't want him stopping me if I'm, a little bit mouthy.
Yeah, I don't want to get pulled over by that on the way home.
That's a good way to get yourself tased. Yeah, because that guy absolutely lost his mind. Anyway, so anything else on Saturday before we turn to Sunday?
An interesting one. Louisville going to SMU. Louisville was in contention to potentially play in the ACC championship game. Had an outside shot at the playoff. Now they've lost back-to-back games, losing to Cal and Clemson at home. Now they go to SMU, who now kind of has taken their spot as the potential team to get back into the championship game and maybe the playoff. And that's a program which I think has done everything the right way and in terms of today's college football landscape. And this is an opportunity where there was talk that Braum may be taking the Penn State job. He might be getting poached by someone else. In the last 2 weeks, there was a guy that got arrested in Texas for threatening Braum and the players on the internet. And then last week, there was news that he got an extension at Louisville. If they can avoid having anything in the news for a week, maybe they can focus on football and get a road win. But SMU is a tough team, man. We saw what they did last year in the playoffs, or to get to the playoffs at least. That's a tough game, and that's not going to be a good place to play when you're on a 2-game losing streak.
He was threatening him over gambling, I guess. Probably gambling.
That's the assumption. I mean, it would be rare for someone in Corpus Christi, Texas, to start sending death threats to a player's coach and his kids and his starting quarterback on a random Friday or a random Saturday when they lose a football game.
Gambling is illegal in Corpus Christi, Texas. So, I mean,
maybe
they have bigger issues than just the threats. I mean, they're not supposed to be gambling in Texas. So, shame on him. He's this guy the border to gamble, you think?
Yeah, this guy probably strong, like 5'6" energy. So there's other issues there. Hopefully he's not a cop.
You said Louisville lost to Clemson. I could have sworn that they gave him the game. It was like a gift. Like if I show up at a party with a gift and I hand it to somebody else, that's not me really losing it. I basically came to get that. It's like they tried to lose that game. Both those teams tried to lose, but Louisville. You want to talk about lack of discipline?
Ugh.
A team that, I don't know, people go back and but my gosh, I mean, we're getting personal foul penalties that literally are taking you out of field goal range and your kicker can't kick anyway. It's like some of the players on that team did not physically want to win. So
it's basketball season in Louisville, so they've checked out.
I think that's best. That's best. Let's get a reset. FatJackSports.com, $99 weekend. All the football through Monday, football and hoops, not that much more. Get signed up today. Start winning. The plays are posted. They're documented. You get them emailed to you. They're on a private portal. If you're in a state that doesn't have legalized sports gambling, please don't email Brandon and say, do you guys place bets for me? We do not. That's illegal. Just like it is the guy in Corpus Christi. We can't do that. Won't do that. You have to place the bet yourself. You will, however, get a recommended betting guide that will tell you exactly what to do with the plays, all the plays as they relate to each other. You can go to the How It Works tab and see most of that information as well. And then clearly go to the Results tab, apply common sense. See that we have posted all the wins, all the losses, so that you know you're getting only the best picks. So when you get the picks emailed to you and they go off on Saturday, after Saturday's games, they'll all be listed under this week's plays with wins and losses next to them as the exact plays you were given. So fatjacksports.com, sign up today and win this weekend. Do you want to take a break or you want to go to the NFL? Because I've got some NFL stuff too, Brandon.
Well, you asked before the break who the best team in the NFL is. And
tell me, because I don't.
Indy or the Rams? I would take those two over, say, the next 15.
So if you had $10,000
mm-hmm.
and they would give you 3 teams to win the Super Bowl,
okay,
would you take any 3 teams? You take Indy, the Rams, and whoever else you could throw in there, or would you take the field?
The field. I would be troubled to see who the third team would be, because I would run through Baltimore, I would run through Philly, I would run through Detroit, New England, and Tampa. Gosh, that'd be tough.
So to win the Super Bowl, the Philadelphia Eagles have moved to the new odds-on favorite at 5-1.
Okay.
Then you have the Rams at 6.5-1. Buffalo.
If you get them now, but if you followed us in the preseason, you're ahead of the curve there.
Got a lot more than that. You got better than 20. I mean, you got better than 20 on the Rams for sure. Buffalo at 8-1. How quickly we forget. It's all about path too. I mean, they lose to Miami and then now
and then
they
beat
come
Tampa.
back. They win a game against Tampa. Everybody decided they're great. Kansas City. What is Kansas? I'm curious what Kansas City has to do to not make the playoffs, because they're not going to win their division.
Yeah, they're 3.5 out of the division now, and even though they're the second favorite to win the AFC West, they are well out of contention at this point for the division.
Now that might be the kiss of death to Denver, because I do not think a lot of Denver.
They keep winning games, man. Yeah. As far as Kansas City missing the playoff, I mean, right now they would be the 9 seed if the playoffs started today. They're a game back of Jacksonville, tied with Houston, who I also can't figure out.
At what point do we look at Kansas City like they're a 500 team? Because that is exactly what they are. And this is not just a team losing in Brazil. Right. They're a team that lost to Jacksonville. That looks like a better loss after last week, but Jacksonville has been super up and down. That they have not quote unquote taken care of business after the slow start. I mean, I got the slow start, but this is a team that is losing. Where last year they won a bunch of one-score games, so we're winning but not covering. This year they're not winning those one-score games. I want to say they're 0-5 now, one-score games. They're still the 4th pick to win the Super Bowl at 9.5-1.
There's a very distinct possibility that come Black Friday, they could be 5-7. So Indy this weekend, who I just said might be the Super Bowl favorite, and then they go to Dallas on a Thanksgiving Day short week. That has all the makings of being an awful situation for a Kansas City Chiefs backer.
You're saying Indy's the favorite. They're 10-1.
Well, I said I would take Indy or
so if I gave you 3 teams, any 3 teams, you take them? Or how many teams do I have to give you before you take the teams? I guess is the question. It's so wide open.
We'll do 3. I'll do 3. I'll do Colts, Rams, Eagles, I guess.
So for $10,000, you taking those 3? You taking the field?
I'm taking those 3.
Okay, I probably take the field. I don't know that you could line up any 3 teams right now and have me take the field.
And not convince you to take the field.
Yeah, I just think it's so wide open. I mean, the fact that you're getting these teams that can get, you're getting Denver, which I said I'm not high on Denver, but you're getting Denver at 14-1 straight up. But their defense is incredible. Really,
they're the number 1 seed in the AFC right now.
They've done nothing but play really bad teams for the most part. Not nothing, but most of their teams have been bad. We didn't even mention New England, but New England, Brandon, I don't know if you saw this. We're going to take a break real quick, but New England has played, they have 11 games. They have played the 10 worst teams in the league.
The easiest strength of schedule in football.
If you line up the best to worst teams, every single team New England has played has been in the bottom 10 teams. They played the Second worst team in the league twice. Everybody else is the bottom. Who knows what they are? I throw Denver kind of in that. Their wins are against virtually nobody. Kansas City by far their best win.
Mm-hmm.
But Denver's beat Cincinnati. They beat Las Vegas. They beat the Texans with Mills. They beat the Jets. Half these teams don't even have coaches anymore. They beat the Giants in that huge comeback.
Mm-hmm.
They beat Tennessee by 1. That's their wins. That's who Denver's beaten. So, and I understand the whole you only play who's in front of you, blah, blah, blah.
Right,
and what about this division that's been so tough? I get all that, but from a gambling standpoint, I'm not interested in that. From a gambling standpoint, I'm looking for value. I'm looking for how are these teams either higher rated than they should be or lower rated than they should be based on who they played, the perception of the general public, and how I and my clients can take advantage of that. That's my number one goal, only for $99 this weekend. So from that standpoint, I'm looking right at you, Denver. I'm looking right at you, New England. Absolutely, Kansas City was a better win. But again, I started this with when do we start looking at Kansas City like they're a 500 team and a team that might not be the same Kansas City team? I see Kansas City, and I don't want to put too much into one win, but Philadelphia started looking dangerously close to what they were last year about midseason when they got their defense going.
Especially defensively, yeah.
And started really doing it defensively. And then, oh, by the way, when it gets toward the playoffs, they turn that offense on. Barkley gets going. He had a big, good year the whole year. But Collinsworth did a good job of saying that the other night, that he is close to breaking loose. And that team becomes super dangerous if they're getting anything offensive.
Hey guys, this is the Fat Jack. Are you finally ready to get a better plan betting the games this year? Let me help. Go to fatjacksports.com, where we understand that it's not the gambling she hates, it's the losing. fatjacksports.com.
If you want to stay in touch with everything related to the Fat Jack, follow us on all the socials: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, you name it, we are there at Fat Jack Sports. You can also watch the Fat Jack Sports Hour on YouTube every week, get free winners, and tips on how to become a better sports bettor. Plus, see Jack's appearances on the nationally syndicated TV show Beat the Odds. Stay connected with the Fat Jack Sports Service at Fat Jack Sports on all the socials and on YouTube.
Back out to Allen. His three-pointer.
Before the ball is tipped or a shot is even taken, before the crowd explodes or history's made. If you're going to bet, have a game plan. Bet legally, set limits, and keep it fun. When gambling becomes a problem, visit responsibleplay.org to find help.
Welcome back to the Fat Jack Sports Hour, and for the final time before Thanksgiving, here is our host, a man whose product makes a great stocking stuffer. No Black Friday deal needed. He is the Fat Jack.
Thank you so much, Brandon. FatJackSports.com. It is not the gambling that she hates, guys. It's the losing, for sure. If you're not signed up and you're betting on sports, and your wife doesn't like that or girlfriend doesn't like that, it is not the fact you're betting on sports, unless you're one of those jackasses that's screaming at the TV and throwing things, that kind of stuff. And then it might be the betting on sports. You should probably stop. If it isn't that, it's the losing. It's not the gambling. So get signed up, fatjacksports.com. This is a great time of year to do that because the longer-term packages save you a lot of money. And if you're on a budget and you've been waiting, $99 for all the football through Monday will get you into profit as long as we do what we've been doing literally the entire year. We're not in September anymore, guys. This is latter part of November. We're averaging 4-2 on Saturdays alone, more than making up for anything if we lose a Monday night or if we lose a Thursday. Basketball won again last week. So great time to get all those sports, and I have them at fatjacksports.com. Yeah, you were talking off the air about the phones listening to us. I guarantee you my phone, I'm not guessing anymore, is listening to me. And I had one of those obscure things happen last week that proved my point. So I am on 2 different shows, and for some reason, I was talking about Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers, as ISIS basically said, I don't think I want to spend 5 minutes with Aaron Rodgers if he was not on the show. They were talking about how he hasn't brought his wife around the team and nobody knows he's actually
right.
And I said, is it going to surprise any of us if Aaron Rodgers, if we find out later after his career's over, he's tucking his stuff and he's talking about rubbing the lotion and jumping to the basket? I mean, basically talking about Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs. And I didn't say the word Buffalo Bill I didn't say the word silence of the lambs. I just talked about rubbing the lotion and getting in the basket and tucking.
Lotions and baskets was enough to trigger the algorithm?
It triggered the algorithm, Brandon. And now I am on TikTok, and I don't stop on it. Buffalo Bill calendars for the holidays, which apparently are a real item. And by the way, you're now probably going to get them because you're talking to me and I'm talking about. You're probably going to get to see it out there. If you don't believe me, if you're out there and you're listening to this show, don't do anything. Just
don't search it. Don't Google search anything. Just speak it into existence.
Just say Silence of the Lambs, say Buffalo Bill, and then go on TikTok tomorrow and see if you don't get a sale for a calendar.
The algorithm got me last week twice. One, I'm searching for an ultra-wide monitor for my home office. Two, we talked about JSX Airlines, the semi-private airline that you fly. I had no less than 4 ads on Instagram and on actually on YouTube as well for JSX.
That's not a coincidence, Brandon.
Yeah.
You guys don't even have JSX.
No, I looked. The closest to me,
you.
The closest to me is Dallas.
Dallas is their only middle stop.
Or it's someplace in Florida. Maybe.
Lots in Florida. They go to West Palm now. They go to Boca now. They go to Lauderdale. They go to the Northeast. That's on that coast. On my coast, they got on the West Coast. They do a lot of stuff, but they're not even in the middle. They're 100% listening, and so you need to be careful. Everybody, be careful what you say. And if you don't believe me, talk about Buffalo Bill and Silence of the Lambs. You're going to get sales for a calendar this week. FatJackSports.com, $99. Don't buy the calendar. That's a gift that sounds great at the time, and afterwards, like, what am I going to do with this? This creepy MRFer sitting on my wall. Who loves calendars anyway? I mean, unless you're raising money for the fire department or something, one of those things, or Kittens Are Us.
There goes my pitch for 2026, Jack. I was going to put us together a Fat Jack Sports calendar to sell on the website, and you just poo-pooed it. So I got to move on to the next thing.
That would be the Black Friday sale of the century next. Nobody would buy that.
No, zero.
Nobody even has a calendar.
I wouldn't buy it.
Yeah, no, nor would I. And I have shirts. Everybody wants a shirt. I got shirts. I need to figure out what to do with those. I just don't get out enough and do enough with them, and it's a lot of work to give them away for free. You got to send them out and that kind of stuff. So FatJackSports.com. Brandon, there's a couple coaches in the NFL that I don't think want to coach football anymore.
Is Mike Tomlin on the list? Because he keeps getting his name tossed around as a guy who probably doesn't act like he wants to be coaching.
It's not him.
Good. I like Tomlin.
I think they're doing enough. Mike McDaniel is the first one. This
Down
guy's
in his little capri joggers.
He wants to be fired. Brandon, they are up that game overseas. If you watched it at all, and I watched very, very little. We had over, and it didn't go over. They're down. They're tied, and he's got it on the 5-yard line.
Mm-hmm.
Under 2 to go, and it's 13 all. I don't understand. These coaches do not take into consideration what their team, the body of work of what their teams have done the entire game. If you've only given up 13 points the entire game, and you have the opportunity to kick a field goal on 4th and goal from at the 2-minute warning to take the lead, and then you give the ball back to a Washington team that scored 13 points the entire game, and you decide to go for it
with their backup quarterback, by the way,
you're telling me you don't want to coach football anymore. You don't care what your team does. If I'm a player on that team, Brandon, I'm losing my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Take the lead and then play defense for 4 plays and you win against a team that only scored 13 points the entire game. That's telling me I don't care what you've done as players. I don't care that you as a defensive player have held this opponent to 13 points. I'm going to go for it with my stupid quarterback that throws at the other team more than he's supposed to. And by the way, we've only scored 13 points. It's not like we're an offensive juggernaut. But you know what? I'm going to go ahead and go for it. That to me is insanity. And I think he's telling me basically he doesn't want to coach. And I'll give you the other one, and this is a little more controversial, is Detroit's coach.
Oh,
if you're
Dan Campbell, okay.
If you're a defensive player on that team, and again, I had under. Works great for me, Brandon. And it was an extra play. It wasn't even a release. But works great for me. But if you're playing Philadelphia and your defense has only given up 13 points the entire game or whatever it was, and you continue to go for it on 4th down from midfield, giving a short field, basically saying, hey, Super Bowl champs, all you have to do is move the ball 10 or 15 yards, and I get the weather, but let's say 20 yards, and you're going to be in field goal range. If I'm a player, you're telling me you don't trust me to go do what I've done the entire game, get a 3 and out, and get our team back the ball at midfield. It's
what I get paid millions of dollars a year to do.
It's not like they're playing the greatest show on turf or somebody that's incredible offensively, and so you punt it away to them. I get it sometimes in college when you're like, I can't give it back to their offense. But when your team has proven to you on the defensive side, listen, we are stopping them. They're not going to score on us. And 5 times he went for it on 4th down, Detroit's coach did, from midfield or in their own half. They're surprised they lost. They're 0-5 on those. Of course they lost. So you give away a win. I don't get it. He's telling me I don't understand enough about what my job. And by the way, if I saw him or maybe Dan would be simple because I could beat him up if I had to. Even if I saw Detroit's coach and we were face-to-face, Brad, I would tell him, you've lost your mind. You're going for – but again, don't care, not a Detroit fan. Barry Sanders is awesome, whatever. Don't care about them at all. But if I'm a player on that team, especially on the defensive side of the ball, I'm like, what? You don't trust us at all? Punt the ball. Let us go get a 3 and out and get the ball back at midfield. To me, he's lost his mind. I've said this for 3 years now. They're never winning the Super Bowl simply because their head coach, who's been great for getting guys to run through a brick wall, he's horrible for teams that need to beat other good teams, especially late in the year.
I have no evidence to support anything otherwise. And you could take McDaniel. I don't think you could take Dan Campbell, even though I think you guys are about the same age. I
definitely could not take Dan Campbell.
Okay. I just wanted to make that distinction.
I better hit him first with a bat.
Twice.
I need a weapon, and I got to hit him first. There's no
element of surprise.
No scenario one-on-one I could take Dan Campbell. All right, Campbell's not Ronda Rousey. All right, at 55, I'm not sure I could take Ronda Rousey now either, but I could take her at 45. I don't care what anybody says. I don't think I could take Dan Campbell. There's not a world, even with a bat, I might have trouble with Dan Campbell. So
that was the golden age of this show.
That was a weekly.
I'll tell you right now.
All right, we're out of time, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, we got a free winner.
No. Let's give away.
We said early 3 free winners, and then we gave one.
Such a lie. Go into church, people. If you're listening on Sunday,
follow us on social media. You'll get the free winners there.
I'll take either one of the big road favorites that are given a bunch of points. So I'll take Tennessee. Underdogs at home against these big road favorites. So I'll take Tennessee plus the points against Seattle, getting 12.5. And I might, this will only be a free winner. Don't worry, clients. I'm not going to give it out. But I might take Cincinnati to rebound against the New England team that I've said will continue their run against the worst teams in the league. Cincinnati, 6-point favorite, probably up to touchdown by the time we get to game time over the Patriots. So, and I'll take Cincinnati there. So those are free winners. Go follow us at Fat Jack Sports for more free winners and follow that Murray Parrish deal. I don't care where you live in the country. If you follow us, the last week's guy, he lives in Missouri. Or Kansas, lives north of Kansas City, won $250 just for simply liking and following at Fat Jack Sports, and then liking the video of our free gift. So, of our free winner that Murray Parrish from Parrish Devon gave away. So, do all that. Have a great week. Wager responsibly. Don't drink and drive. We're heading into the holiday season, guys. Get your patience up and be thankful for what you have in your life. Everybody have a great day. I'll talk to you next week for a holiday edition of Brandon and the Fat Jack. This has been the Fat Jack Sports Hour.